Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Helgren. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to Savage Arena for today's news conference. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping details. Following our introduction of our new volleyball coach, Brian Wright, we'll have a short Q&A with Coach Wright and Mason Lowry. Mason, some of you may know, is a play-by-play announcer for BCSN, does a lot of our volleyball games as well as some of our other sports, and does a great job. So we're happy Mason could join us. Following that Q&A, Coach Wright will be available for media interviews for our friends in the media. After that, Coach Wright will stick around, and he'll chat with anyone here who wants to say hello and meet our latest Rocket head coach. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Brian Blair. Brian?
Good afternoon. Exciting day to introduce a new member of our family. But first, I think it'd be appropriate to share a couple thank yous. So one, I want to thank the young ladies on our volleyball team. This is a responsibility I take very, very seriously because I understand the impact that coaches have. I know they sit in your home, they talk to you about what the future is going to be like, they get you to buy into a vision, and so much of your life over those 4 or 5 years is dictated, supported, and enhanced by that individual. And so I just want you to let you know your words, your comments, your feedback were certainly all taken into account as we made this decision. It's critically important to me that you have the best opportunity to be successful here, both on the court, in the classroom, but you're prepared for life. And so certainly thank you for extending your patience and trust in us throughout this process. I want to thank President Schroeder. To have a president, to be as supportive, to have the trust in us to execute this search, but also offer feedback along the way in terms of the candidate pools, how we're going about it, how we're thinking about it. Very much indebted to him as well. I want to thank Al Tomlinson, our Deputy Athletic Director. So many of you know we have sport administrators for all our sport, and Al was beside my side this entire search, really running point on the process, on the candidates, talking to the young ladies even throughout, and just really appreciate him going head over heels and diving into the sport of volleyball and being as vested as we all are. I want to thank Kenny Shank and Nicole Alderson. I know they're here today, but they were part of the search committee. I think it's really important that you want differing perspectives around the table when you're making critical decisions. You want a lot of people that either have been at Toledo 10, 15 years. You want some people that are new. You want some people that have worked across the country to make sure you don't have blind spots in fact checking and making sure we're asking the right questions for the right individuals. I want to thank Kyle Bowlesby and Katie McKittrick of Bowlesby Sports Advisors. I tell people all the time, search firms don't hire coaches, but what they do is help you move more efficiently, more confidentially throughout the process, and they help make everything so you can really focus on evaluating candidates and making sure you've got the right fit. I want to thank Coach Oliver, and I hope he's watching, I hope he hears this. Jason was here for 7 years and did a remarkable job at this program. The last 4 years were the best 4 years in Toledo volleyball history. Make no bones about it. This is not a rebuild. This is an opportunity to grab that baton and continue to run with it. And I know we've got the young ladies in place to be able to do that. I want to thank Jordan and Bethany, our 2 assistant coaches. I talked about the young ladies and the anxiety of not knowing who your coach is. It's the same with not knowing who your boss might be and what the future holds for this volleyball program. I think the thing that jumped out to me immediately is hearing not only their passion for the program, and neither one of them blinked throughout the process to offer their help, whether it be recruiting, talking through transfers, talking through next steps for the program, what that looked like. I mean, I'm just so impressed by both of you, and I always was, but even more so now, and how you carried yourself throughout this process. Incredibly appreciative that you'll be around for a little bit longer, so thank you. And then just all of our staff. I think we've done a handful of these searches in the last 2 or so years, and every time we do one, the candidates in the pool, even the ones that don't get the job, and the search firms come back and compliment our process. And I see Rebecca Lugo, and I see Jennifer Nels Copel, and I see so many of our staff here that pour into this process and make people feel like, you know, Toledo's got their stuff together. And they go about it in a way that's a little bit different than everybody else. I think that permeates when we go out to the market and try to invite people to be a part of this family. They hear about what we've got going on. And we're telling that story and showcasing all that makes this place great and all that I found out about that makes this place great. So you go through a coaching search and you're saying, okay, well, what are we looking for? And I've said this before, I'm very definitive in terms of the process. Number one, what have you done? What do your stats say? What does your resume say? What success have you been a part of? What have you accomplished? What have you done to impact programs? And then second to that, what do people say about you? When you get a flat tire on the way to work, how do you treat people in the office? When you spill your coffee in the morning, how do you treat those around you? Are you a jerk? That's my number one rule. We don't hire jerks. If you clear that hurdle, we'll let the rest take care of itself. But start there. And then third, and least important, but certainly important, is when you're in that interview setting, can I see you sitting in the home of a young person, getting them excited to come to the University of Toledo? Can I see you working within our culture and our department and see you being a fit for all we have to offer? Doesn't mean you have to be the same. I don't believe that, but certainly you're additive to the overall culture. So you look at what you've done, you look at what people say, and then ultimately you look at what's come across in the interview, and you try to find the right fit. So again, you don't want to hire jerks, but we were looking for somebody that had experiences of all levels of volleyball. Somebody that really had been where we want to go, that competed against the schools and the kind of program and competition that we want to one day compete against. I thought it was important to have Midwest connections. I think this part of the country is very unique, and I think volleyball in this part of the country is very unique and really, really talented. Somebody that knew who to call, what club directors to work with, vice versa, to get in those homes and get the right talent here to the table. We wanted an elite recruiter. And not only an elite recruiter, but somebody that knows what recruiting looks like in 2025. With NIL, transfer portal, all these different factors coming into play, and volleyball growing faster than ever, there's kind of this convergence where I think volleyball is kind of going through a maturation process and growing and changing a little bit. We wanted somebody that could stay ahead of the game. A personality and a willingness to excite our fan base. I believe volleyball should be a revenue sport here at University of Toledo. And I'm going out on a limb and saying that, but I believe that. I believe volleyball should be a big deal at the University of Toledo and in the city of Toledo and in Northwest Ohio. We can accomplish that. And I look forward to seeing these stands filled when we're watching our volleyball team play, compete for championships moving forward. That's critically important to me. And then lastly, but certainly not least, you wanted somebody that was excited to be a Toledo Rocket. This is a privilege. We don't need to beg anybody to come here to the University of Toledo. I don't need to overly convince somebody to come here to the University of Toledo. Now, I think I can be convincing to get you to answer my phone call, but once we get to that point, I want you to see all that we have to offer, and I want you to get excited about being part of this family, because we've got something incredibly special to offer here, and I didn't understand it before I got here. I understand it now, and so we're incredibly excited for today. Volleyball is one of the fastest growing sports in America. I think viewership of the 4 regionals last year was up 90%. You had a volleyball team sell out a football stadium with 90,000 people and turn a $1.3 million profit off the sport of volleyball. This is not volleyball from 10 years ago. Volleyball is here to stay. It's a big deal, and we wanted to treat today like a big deal. So in essence, we were looking for a unicorn, right? We're looking for somebody that's got all those things and more in one package. Had significant interest. We looked at over 75 candidate profiles. About 15 interviews later, I think we found that person. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce our 8th Ed volleyball coach, Brian Wright.
Wow, a heck of an introduction right there by Brian. I appreciate that. And I think first and foremost, just grateful to President Schroeder for hiring this man and getting the athletic department and just where we're going right now is it's absolutely amazing. And you know, listening to Brian talk about what he was looking for in a candidate, I'm sitting there saying like, nah, I get how I got the job. Like this is who I am, and this is who I know that I'm glad that I got to share with you. And for me, in learning about Toledo was also learning about the people that I would work with. And you find out more as you go on, but when I first met Brian and I'm doing my research on him, it was clear to me his passion, his energy. This is a place I wanted to be. I want to be, if he's here, then I know that amazing people are going to be around here as well. And then to Al, Kenny, and Nicole for being on the search committee and for all the hundreds of hours of interviews they did and just the diligence they put in. 3-4 weeks later now, I'm only finding out about all 100 people they called about me. I know they put their work in it. If they were doing that on me, they were doing that on a lot of people. So I just appreciate the time and research and care and love that they have for this program and for this university to put that kind of time into the search. To the entire athletic department, I mean, the number of texts, the number of emails, the number of times I've walked in someone's office over the last 3 weeks, I feel like my job right now is just to collect information and to learn as many things as I can about where's the state of the program, how do we do these things at the university. I know where I want to go, but I need to figure out how to get there, and that takes information. And it is absolutely incredible, the number of people that are willing to just drop what they're doing right now in the middle of their seasons, in the middle of their work days, and spend 45 minutes or an hour with me to help me collect all that information. So to just about every single person in the athletic department that's already put that time into me, I appreciate you. Thank you. And then, Beth and Jordan, I went through the interview process and interviewed people from around the country, and people gave me names, and I'm doing my research, and the thing that came up first was, I think the very first thing I did in week 1 was talk to every single player on the team. Some of those conversations were 45 minutes, some of those were an hour and a half, but every single person on this team, without me really asking, I found out how much they already loved Beth and Jordan, and I found out how valuable they were to the program. And that said, hey, I've got to interview them, and I've got to make sure that I figure out why this place is special. And as I got to know them, they're organized, they're elite recruiters, they're great teachers of the game, and I'm really, really pumped that we get to continue this journey together. To the team, thank you for just, look, it's been a few weeks, but buying into me, for giving me a chance, for allowing me to walk in the gym this week and ask you to make changes week 1, and we're kind of celebrating the uncomfortability of the learning process right now, and you're going for it. And that's gonna be something we're gonna continue to do. So thank you for just giving me the benefit of the doubt to start with, and then figure out if you trust me in a couple months and we'll have that conversation. But for right now, I appreciate you for giving me that benefit of the doubt. And then to everybody here, just anybody that walked in here today and said, I'm willing to spend this 45 minutes, hour, however much time you end up being here today, that means you love this university and you love this program. And that means a lot to me. It's amazing to see how much love and support is here for volleyball, and to know that we can connect in a way that's going to continue to grow this sport. So thank every single person for being here. So in order for me to tell you a little bit about why Toledo is the perfect fit for me, I have to kind of give you a little bit of who I am and where I came from. And so I grew up in Texas. I'd played a bunch of sports growing up, and I didn't even know guys played volleyball until I was 18. Some soccer guys talked me into playing on a volleyball team. I'm 6'4", I jumped well. Next thing you know, I'm getting recruited on another volleyball team. Then I'm going off to school, University of Texas. I found out they had a men's club team. I kept playing. 2 years later, I get a phone call from Barb Shelton. She's basically my second mom, and she's the reason I'm a coach today. And she just asked me a real simple question. Do you know any guys that would be interested in coming out and coaching club? I said, I don't know, I'll think about it, and hung up the phone. And 10 minutes later, I realized she had offered money to coach. And I called her back, and I was like, I know one. I'm in, what do I got to do? And I took that first job I thought it was a little bit of money while I was in college. I thought it was going to be just something I did. I was a math and a computer science major. I had no idea I wanted to coach. But that phone call changed my life. I became a club coach in that moment, completely took a hard left in terms of what I was studying, and 25 years later, this is the only thing I've done since, and it's my complete passion, and I wouldn't be here and be coaching if it weren't for Barb. So I appreciate her for just all the mentorship and everything she did to give me that opportunity in the coaching world. So I'm 20 years old and I'm coaching, and 3 years later, due to some circumstances, she had to move out of the state. And now all of a sudden, I'm basically running a club. And I've only been around the sport for 5 years. I've only been coaching for 3. And here I am, trying to figure out how to do team travel for multiple teams, how to handle tryout selection, how to talk to 100 sets of families and parents and convince them to play for our club, but then all at the same time not have enough spots for every single person that showed up. And lots and lots of life lessons there outside of just coaching a single team. And it was just a special thing to be a part of that. It grew from 4 teams when I joined to 7 teams, and then a few years later, after being more in charge of it, it grew to 16 teams. And I think back to all the people that I met during that time. One of them's coaching the best high school team in Austin now. One of them has started her own club, and it's one of the best clubs in the nation now. And it all started because we had a group of people that was willing to spend time getting to know each other and do things in the right way, in what we thought was the right way. And after 25 years of coaching, I really feel like I'm just still the same person I was on day one, and that is the person who's just trying to get better every day, and I'm just chasing the opportunity to work around good people, and which made it really easy to make the choice to come here because the good people are here. But in every single stop I've had along the way, I've chased, is this an opportunity where they're going to allow me to be my best, and is this an opportunity where I can work with great people? And it's taken me some cool places. Like Brian mentioned, like, I got the stats, I got the resume. I've gotten to coach in the Final Fours. I've won a national championship. At TCU, we won back-to-back. We made it to the NCAA tournament in back-to-back years for the first time in program history. At Ohio State, that became the second school I got to coach at to make it to an Elite Eight after, it had been, I think, 15, 20 years since they had. And so I've gotten to be a part of First, and I've gotten to be a part of all these really cool things, and I'm grateful for that. But at the end of the day, it comes back to I'm just trying to get better, and I'm just trying to hang out with good people, and I'm just trying to do my best by the people that I serve, and that's my team, and that's the program that I'm here for. So I think as I looked for why do I want a head coach, it's because I want to get back to those roots. When I think about everything that we did in Austin, I know that the efforts that I put in, that the people at that club and those people that I know that put in, Austin's a better volleyball city today because of some of the time we put in. And I wanted to find a place where I could grow the program. I want to do more with the program, but I wanted to be a part of something bigger. I wanted to be a part of a university that the entire university wants to grow, and I wanted to be a part of an area where the whole community wants to get better at volleyball. And I think as I looked around, that's Toledo. That's everything about it. And I think we can do something really special here. I want Toledo to be a volleyball city. I want Toledo to be a volleyball school. I want it to be a household name when it comes to volleyball. And I know that with the time that we put in, we can get it there. And I think most importantly, and I can't see it from here, but maybe some of you can, there's only a couple banners hanging back over there. And I want to hang one. I want to be the first person. I want to be on that first team. I want to be the first people here. I want to hang one that says MAC Championship, right? And that's ultimately the volleyball goal. Like, it's time to hang those banners. I'm going to say this out loud because if I do, I have to do it. But over the next couple years, I want to double attendance. And Brian mentioned volleyball is on the rise. It's the right time for the sport. Viewership's up on TV. I think there was 25, 30 programs across the country that had their #1 attendance. Pretty sure we were one of them last year. It's the right time for volleyball to take the next step. And so if now's the time, and I look at the women's basketball program, I got to come to a game last weekend. This city has the ability to support women's sports. And so, look, for 3.5 months, we're the ones here in Savage. Come hang out with us. Come watch our matches. I promise we'll play good volleyball. We'll have a lot of fun doing it. We'll be a great team to watch. We'll put on the best game day environment in the MAC. You'll have a good time. Bring a friend. The next time you come, bring another friend. And then come find me after the match and say hi. But I want, they deserve more fans in the crowd, and I'll do whatever it takes to get out there and show you why they're worth supporting. So to everyone here, to everyone watching, like, get to know me, get to know our team, and I'm telling you, you will want to support us. Half our team is in the medical field. Like, this isn't just about, we want to chase that banner. Half our team wants to do amazing things in this world. Half of them are going into the medical world. Half of them are going into business and teachers. this is a team filled with people that want to be great in everything they do. And I'm confident that if you get to know them, you will want to support them. So I'll say this, if you run a business and you know that student athletes can make your business better, email me. Because I want to see great things for them, and that means great internship opportunities. It means great mentorship opportunities. But I also know that if we treat them right, some of them stay here in Toledo. And if some of them stay here in Toledo, the whole city gets better. Because if they stay here and give their energy to us, like, the city is in a better spot because of it. So invest in them, and they'll do great things for the city. And then in return, we'll continue to have more and more people that can't wait to play here. And then our recruiting gets better, and then volleyball gets better, and then you want to come to the matches more, and it's a nonstop upward spiral. So if you enjoy coming to the games already, and you want to see our game day environment get even better, we've got ideas. Email me, get to know me. There's ways to help, there's ways to be involved. If you know a group in the community where they're waiting to find something to belong to, if they're waiting to find something else to love, email me. I will come out, I'll meet people. I want them in here, I want them to get to know our team, I want more fans. I want to show people why they should love this program. But know that we're going to do something special here, and we're all in this together. So thank you, and TOL.
Well, I'm thoroughly inspired. How about you guys? And I loved, Coach. First of all, let me be certainly not the first, but the latest to welcome you to Team Toledo and the University of Toledo family. It's a wonderful university. I'm an alum. It's a wonderful city and a wonderful region to live the better part of your life in. I can certainly attest to that. So we're delighted to have you here. And I loved what Brian Blair said, that in looking for the next Toledo volleyball coach, essentially looking for a unicorn. In your search, looking for where you wanted to take the next step of your career, how much of a unicorn was Toledo?
The people are here. The city wants to support women's sports. The program wants to improve. The players are already amazing and already making steps in the right direction every single day. There was already a winning record. We just need to take the next step. And you don't find that. You don't find that anywhere. So, yeah, unicorn for sure.
You know, there were 3 words that you hear in basically every introductory press conference for any head coach anywhere that were noticeably absent from your opening remarks, and that was change the culture. You're inheriting, as best I can tell, a fabulous culture here. It's a testament to what's already here, that Bethany and Jordan are still on staff and that so many players have stayed. How much of a luxury is it for you as a first-time college head coach to have this not be the kind of renovation where you have to tear everything down to the studs and just kind of refine and enhance a bit?
You're spot on.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing your research. I told every single person on the team by the time I talked to them, and I was hoping this was the case, but as I got to know them, it was even more obvious. This is not a rebuild. This is not a change. This is not a start over. This is not a culture shift. It's an add-on. Like, we need to add on to the great things that are already happening, and we need to find that next 10 or 20% to take the next step. It's been a goal to make the MAC tournament for a few years. Check. And now it's time for that next step, and that's to be the team that everybody's scared to play during that MAC tournament and to come out with one of those banners.
You've got such an impressive resume, the places you've been, Texas, TCU, most recently at Ohio State. You've also been a development coach within USA Volleyball. How has all of that helped you get to where you are today and prepared you for this next step in your career?
I've coached a 11 and under club team that was not the top team in the club. I've coached 5-year-old camps. I've coached 15s and 16s for 15 years, and I've coached, every level of college volleyball. I've coached future All-Americans and future Olympians, and there's just no range in between that I haven't already been there, done that in a sense, and just that range of experience lets me walk in and say, wherever we are, we're gonna go to the next step, and I'm gonna know what it's gonna take.
The nature of college athletics has changed so much, even in the last 5 years or so. From a recruiting standpoint, how much, I guess, professional sales on your part does it take to get people in the door here? I'm inclined to agree with Mr. Blair that you don't really need to sell Toledo. It sells itself. What's your pitch to possible student athletes and fans?
Yeah. Look at this arena. Look at the players on the team, meet them. I think the best thing we can do, if we get someone to campus and they get a chance to meet the team, they're going to want to be here and they're going to want to be on a part of it. And so it's my job to go out and convince people to get to campus, and then they're going to take care of the rest. But yeah, it doesn't, the winning's going to be there. They can study anything they want to study. We want to help them be successful in the community. We want to, it's the full package. Everything they want to do to be great for the rest of their lives, we have it to offer to them.
I made this joke to you yesterday when we spoke on the phone, and it's not really a joke. I believe it's true, and people in Toledo can attest to this. There are 3 things that Toledoans are really passionate about: women's basketball, minor league hockey, and Jeeps. I think that's absolutely true. What does it take to add volleyball as the 4th thing to that list? It is obviously a growing sport. It's growing rapidly all the time. What does it take to get Toledo volleyball on the level that we would all like it to be?
I already drive a Jeep. Does that give me some credit?
You are way ahead of the game, my friend.
I think it just takes people taking a chance on coming to watch us play. Like, come watch us play one time and then tell a friend and let them tell a friend. And I think what we're going to do on the court, what we're going to do to make sure that the community understands how amazing young women they are, that's going to sell itself. So at the end of the day, take a chance and come out and watch us one time, and we'll take care of the rest.
And let's end on this note. How excited are you to sink your teeth into the Battle of I-75?
Look, I don't like to wear orange and brown already, but it's definitely not going to happen going forward. I got a ton of respect for the level of MAC volleyball and all the head coaches that are already doing great things in this conference. But what none of them have is Toledo. None of them have this city. None of them have this community, and none of them have these people.
Brian Wright, everybody. Let's give him a hand.